Sup peeps, Saw here with a special video today, well a different video. I put up a poll of what people want you to see me do next for a collection video, and the Marvel and DC theme video won. Now what I'm going to do is, you see all these here, these are graphic novels. Now, these and these are part of ongoing fortnightly collections that are published in the UK that are ongoing, so they're not complete collections yet, but they're as complete as they can be. These and these are some of these are some of my favorite ones that I will recommend, and these two here are very special ones. So let's start. Now, first of all, we have a collection over here in the UK, which is ongoing every fortnight, called the Marvel Legendary Collection, which has some Marvel stories from the 80s up to modern day. They're numbered, they're not released in order, they are numbered. Any that are of massive significance, I'll mention something about. First volume is Moon Knight the Dream Demon, which is from the 1980s, has, you know, some pretty good artwork in it. It's from 1982. This is the story that inspired the Moon Knight Disney Plus show. Yeah, the origins of, well, not the origins, but how Moon Knight became the character that we know him as today. Then we have Volume 2, which is Wolverine, which is not an origin story for Wolverine, but is actually a mini-series that is the movie The Wolverine is based off of. Then we had volumes 3 and 4 are Secret Wars, which is going to be adapted into an MCU movie within the next few years. The most significant Marvel storyline of the 80s. It was the first ever big company-wide crossover event that they ever did, and it paved the way for a lot of others that came after it, and it's regarded as one of the best. And also it is where SpiderMan first got his black suit. This volume here includes 1s to 6, and this one right here includes 7 to 12. We have a storyline which is going to be adapted very soon into a Disney Plus show. Volume 5 is Daredevil Born Again. This is going to be adapted into a Disney Plus show pretty soon, or at least the title of it is. It's a pretty important and significant Daredevil story that began the run of Daredevil that we know, you know, to this day. Yeah. We had Volume 6, which is Avengers Under Siege, which is pretty much where Zemo tries to take down the Avengers and take out all their secrets. Yeah, pretty significant story from the 80s again. Then Volume 7 is Spider-Man Kraven's Last Hunt. One of my favorite Spider-Man stories, and one of the most important Spider-Man stories, and also one of the darkest Spider-Man stories. The ending of this story is incredibly dark. I won't spoil it for anybody who's not read it, but very dark. Then Volume 8, Iron Man Armor Wars, which, despite what people think, is not what Iron Man 3 is based off of. There was going to be a Disney Plus show of Armor Wars that didn't have Iron Man in it. Don't know how that would have worked, but yeah. Volume 9 introduces one of my favorite Marvel characters, Venom, with the Venom and Carnage storyline. This is all stories that are integral to the origins of Venom and Carnage. A lot of the iconic moments from the Spider-Man 3 movie are also in that story. Volume 10 is the Silver Surfer Rebirth of Thanos, when Thanos, as we know him currently, appears. Has a lot of the main elements of Thanos' character begin in this story. Has some pretty gruesome artwork too. Volume 11 is Wolverine Weapon X. This is the origin story of Wolverine. So yeah. Volume 12 is X-Men, the Muir Island Saga. All the story about Muir Island, which surprisingly hasn't been adapted into a movie in the X-Men mythos yet, but give it time, it probably will. Volume 15 is the Thunderbolts, Justice Like Lightning. This isn't the Thunderbolts which are going to get their own movie. This is the OG Thunderbolts, which will say on the back here who they are. Citizen V, Techno, Mark 1, Songbird, and Meteorite are the characters that make up this version of the Thunderbolts. When is this from? 1997. An important year for me, because, I don't need to explain why, but let's just say it's an interesting year for me. Next is another two-parter. Black Panther 16, Black Panther the Client, and 17, Black Panther Enemy of the State. Pretty much set the foundation for who Black Panther would be as a character going forward after that point. But yeah. And of course, this is a really known Black Panther storyline. Yeah. Then the next two volumes are also a two-parter. Volumes 18 and 19, the Inhumans Maxi series, because 12 issues are called a Maxi series, from 90s, which was in the Marvel, I believe, in the Marvel Knights imprint. From 1998, I believe. Set the foundation for the god-awful series, TV series. We have Volume 20, Black Widow, Itsy Bitsy Spider, and Breakdown. Two important Black Widow stories in one volume here. Black Widow is one of my favorite female characters in the Marvel Universe. Volume 21 is Avengers Ultron Unlimited. The storyline which was the inspiration for the Avengers Age of Ultron movie. Volume 22 is Ultimate Spider-Man Power and Responsibility. The origin of the Ultimate Universe Spider-Man. Yeah, the Ultimate Universe Spider-Man. Yeah. The original Ultimate Universe Spider-Man. Sorry about all the noise. Someone's deciding they wanted to be crazy going past. Do you mind, dude? Then the next two volumes also form a two-part story. Volumes 23 and 24 is for New X-Men is for Extinction and Imperial, where a lot of the mutants are extinct, and there's a dude that's trying to wipe them out. Next, on the second pile, we have Spider-Man Blue, which is, as it says on the back, this is volume 26, as it says on the back, about a bittersweet tale which tells the untold love story of Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy. Yeah, each volume of this also has, I forgot to mention, each volume of this also has in the back little concept art sections, and these little crafting a legend, which tells you the creation of the story. Next is volume 27, Truth, Red, White, and Black, which is about, well, you guessed it, a alternate universe black Captain America. The artwork in this storyline is a bit, well, just look at it. It's an acquired taste. Let's just say that. Next is another two-parter. Volumes 28 and 29. Fantastic for unthinkable and authoritative action. The storyline, which is famous for, well, as I get to the page, the storyline that's famous for Doctor Doom scarring Reed and getting into Franklin's head and making him see demons. Yeah. That storyline. If you read the comics, you're probably familiar with that storyline. Volume 30 is The Runaways, Pride and Joy. Nico from the Midnight Suns game is in this story. It's superpowered children of supervillains, but they don't want to be villains, they want to be heroes. They find out that their parents are supervillains, basically, and they go on the run. Volume 32 is Secret War. Not Secret War, Secret War. Entirely different storyline. Pretty much just basically a bunch of superheroes go undercover. Basically is how to describe it. The next two were also a two-part. 33 and 34. She-Hulk single green female and superhuman law. Pretty tongue-in-cheek. Volume 35 is one of the most famous Avengers stories. Avengers Assembled, where the team is basically in tatters and, well, disassembles, basically. Volume 36 is Wolverine, Enemy of the State, which goes into detail about a lot of the more darker elements of Wolverine's backstory. The next two volumes, again, are two parts. 37 and 38. Captain America Winter Soldier Part 1 and Part 2. I don't think I need to explain what the storyline is, since it was adapted into an MCU movie. But basically, Bucky comes back after Captain America presumes him dead for years. Volume 39 is New Avengers Breakout. I should start reading the back of these stories, these books, shouldn't I? This one is about the raft being breached. A bunch of supervillains break out the raft. The next one is again another two-parter. Volumes 41 and 42. New Avengers Sidekicks and Family Matters. Basically the formation of the Young Avengers. We have Patriot there, Iron Lad, Wiccan and Hulkling. Then we have Kate Bishop here, Hawkeye. Yeah. We have 43, which is House of M, which is a very important storyline. Mutants are the dominant species. Reality against Ratchet, wake up, so Avengers and X-Men free them from illusion. So it's basically Wolverine's story. A very important thing happens in this storyline involving the Scarlet Witch. But I won't go into detail about that. The next is this two-parter again. Incredible, which is volumes 45 and 46, which make up Planet Hulk. Where Hulk is sent to a planet which some of the characters believe to be a uninhabited planet, and it turns out it's actually a war zone. But yeah, Hulk becomes very pissed. I would argue, probably the best Hulk storyline. Volume 47, the Moon Knight at the bottom. Stop laughing. Yeah. It's basically a retelling of Moon Knight's origin story. Volume 48, one of the most famous Marvel storylines, Civil War, which, the Superhero Registration Act, pitting heroes against each other. Famous for, if I can find it, the famous unmasking publicly of Peter Parker, which led into one of the worst Spider-Man storylines, One More Day, where he has to make a deal with the devil, which I do not have and I do not recommend anyway. But yeah, important Marvel storyline. Volume number 50, Doctor Strange, The Oath. Pretty much the most important Doctor Strange storyline, like it says here. Paranormal skills to solve his own murder. Yeah, his own attempted murder. Next is another two-parter, which is volumes 51 and 52, which is Immortal Iron Fist, The Last Iron Fist Story, and the Seven Capital Cities of Heaven. Why it's called The Last Iron Fist Story when clearly it's not. This one says pretty much about figures from his past, and this one is pretty much about fighting, go from the Seven Capital Cities, which is the same story basically. Next is Fallen Sun, The Death of Captain America, which is how superheroes deal with the day-to-day occurrences of, how they're dealing with their lives after Captain America's death, and making sure his legacy lives. And then Volume 54, a huge event following Hulk's return from Planet Hulk, where he goes completely ballistic. World War Hulk, where Hulk is back, and he is not happy with the heroes of Earth for what they did to him. Next, the final pile here of these, and then we'll get on to the DC section a little bit later. I should probably tell you in the description when the DC part starts. Volume 55 and 56, which is another two-parter. XMen Messiah Complex, with a baby being born, which is basically the mutant Messiah and the mutant's last hope of survival and to become, repopulating and everything. Very, very important X-Men storyline, that one. Next is a story that's going to be very familiar to people who watch Disney+. 57, Secret Invasion. Skrulls take over and could literally be any of the superheroes. So, yeah, everybody is suspicious of each other. Volume 59, which was the first issue in the set, which was way cheaper, $1.99, compared to all the others being $9.99. Spider-Man, New Ways to Die. The face-off between Venom and Anti-Venom, with poor Spidey caught in the middle. Volume 60 is Dark Avengers, Dark Reign. The Dark Avengers were born as a result of the Superhero Registration Act in Civil War, with Norman Osborn as the Iron Patriot. But yeah, this is their story, basically. The Dark Avengers consists of these characters right here. Next is Volume 61, which is the newest issue that was delivered a couple of days ago. Yeah, I have it delivered. Captain America Reborn, which is when Captain America returns seemingly from the dead. Volume 67, The Name of the Rose, Black Widow. which is basically she is a traitor, apparently, of the government. So she gets sent out. She has Iron Man sent after her, but it's not what it seems. Is it really her, or is it an imposter posing as her? Volume 73 is Ultimate Comics Spider-Man, who is Miles Morales. Very important storyline for Spider-Man. The Ultimate Universe, Peter Parker dies, and Miles Morales takes over the mantle of Spider-Man. Volume 74, Winter Soldier, The Longest Winter. Yes, Winter Soldier has his own comic book, where he teams up with the Black Widow. He has to hunt down a bunch of operatives that he trained years ago. Volumes 1881 and 82, but it's not available yet, make up a trilogy. Hawkeye, My Life as a Weapon, and Hawkeye Little Hits. Both of these are about the Kate Bishop Hawkeye. Really good series of stories in there, where she takes over the mantle of Hawkeye. Very, very good run, that is. Volumes 83 and 84 make up a duology that was adapted into a movie, Thor the God Butcher. Now, this introduces Gore. Now, if you're familiar with the movie Thor Love and Thunder, Gore was the main villain of that story, that movie, and this is the story that inspired that movie. Only without the Lady Thor stuff. Volumes 86 and 87 make up a duology. Loki, Agents of Asgard, Trust Me, and Last Days. These are volumes, what did I say? 86 and 87. Yeah, Loki has his own run. Very brilliant story, very hilarious. Gotta love some Loki. The next two volumes, volumes 88 and 89, make up a duology. Miss Marvel, No Normal, and Crushed. Basically the origin story of Kamala Khan. Volume 91 is Captain Marvel, Higher, Further, Faster, More, which is pretty much, she takes a refuge mission. She takes on a refuge mission. And the final volume so far is volume 92, Rocket Raccoon, A Chasing Tale, where a bunch of Rocket's ex-girlfriends want him dead. Okay, that's that collection done. Now for some extra bits. There is a series, or there was a series of books in the UK called The Essential Marvel Comics. Now these were big, cheaper reprints of bunches of collection stories. As you can see here, the prices of them are relatively cheap. They are black and white reprints of classic Marvel stories. Now, this volume I have on the top here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these. Again, I'm not showing every single graphic novel that I own, just the Marvel and DC collections, some special ones and complete runs, and some of my favorites. But these are all the essential ones I have. I have the Essential Iron Man Volume 1, which is Tales of Suspense 39 to 72, which, if we open it up here, is the origin of Iron Man. We have the Essential Avengers Volume 2, which is Avengers issues 25 to 46, and King Size Special 1. So, old school Avengers. We have the Essential Ghost Rider Volume 3, which includes Ghost Rider issues 51 to 65, Marvel 2 and 180, which is the team up the Thing, Marvel Superheroes 11, and Avengers 214. We have Essential Captain America Volume 2, which includes Captain America issues 103 to 126. And we have Amazing Spider-Man Volume 5, which is issues 90 to 113. And Volume 8, which is Amazing Spider-Man issues 161 to 185, Annual 11, Giant Size Spider-Man 6, and Nova issue 12. This also has Peter graduating from college. Okay, now on to some extra stuff. I have some special event comics here. We have one which is probably familiar to absolutely everybody watching this, the Infinity Gauntlet, which was obviously what Avengers Infinity War and Endgame was adapted into. This is the original story, except the story here is he's doing this to try and basically get Death to, well, be with him. Infinity War, which is the sequel. I do not have Infinity Crusade, which is the third part. But yeah, Infinity War is the one that the name was given to. We have Avengers vs. XMen, which is pretty self-explanatory. And this huge bugger here, Secret Empire, which has the Hydra Cap, who isn't really Captain America. A lot of people absolutely despise this story, and I can understand why. We have a complete run of a very overblown and bloated storyline. We have the complete Clone Saga. Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, Volume 4, and Volume 5. The Clone Saga is a storyline which is basically full of clones, full of contradictions, and it's pretty much regarded as a storyline that ran on for way too long. The fact that the entire storyline takes up 5 volumes and basically ran for the entirety, I believe it ran for 4 or 5 years of the Spider-Man comics. So the fact that that exists is a thing. Let's just say that it's a thing. We have some other complete runs. Yeah. We have the complete run of the 2015 reboot of Spider-Man 2099. We have 3 volumes here of the 2018 run of the Miles Morales Spider-Man comic, culminating in his own Clone Saga. And we have the complete collection of the Daniel Way run of Deadpool, which, by the way, is the run that inspired the Deadpool movie. Okay, that's the Marvel section done. Yeah, that's the Marvel section done. Now on to DC. Now, the DC also has their own fortnightly collection. Now, unfortunately, I didn't get this one from the beginning, so there's a lot missing. But we have Volume 1, which is Booster Gold, The Big Fall, which is basically the first 12 issues of the original Booster Gold comic book. The advantage of the DC ones is they tell you the date, which is from 1986 and 1987. We have Legion of Superheroes, The Gathering Darkness, which is Volume 2, which is from 1982. We have Legion of Superheroes, The Great Darkness Saga, which is probably the most famous Legion of Superheroes storyline. I'm not going to tell you the volume numbers of these because it wastes time. This is from 1982 again. Legion of Three Worlds, which is a Legion crossover, which is from 2008. Aquaman Atlantis Chronicles, which is basically the origin story of Aquaman and Aquaman's father, basically. The Legend of Aquaman, another retelling of Aquaman's origin. Aquaman Time and Tide, the infamous hook-handed Aquaman from 1994. The Flash, Terminal Velocity. This guy, Impulse, will be showing up later in a story, in a run that I'm going to be talking quite a bit about. I'm going through these quickly because there's some here. These ones here in particular I want to talk a lot about. And we have, this was from 1994 also. We have The Flash, Green Lantern, The Brave and the Bold, which is a crossover between the two. Tales of the Green Lantern Corps. Green Lantern Space Sector 2814, which is the storyline that introduced the John Stewart Green Lantern. Green Lantern Emerald Twilight, a storyline where Hal Jordan's city gets destroyed, and the Green Lantern, I can't remember their names, blue dudes. They do nothing about it. They're all power beings. They do nothing about it. So Hal Jordan takes matters in his own hands, kills a bunch of the Green Lanterns, takes their rings, and basically goes crazy with power. Yeah. Green Lantern Rebirth, which reintroduces the Hal Jordan Green Lantern. But yeah. Explain that one away. Cosmic Odyssey, Discovery, Disaster, Decisions, and Death. Basically covers the entire cosmos of the DC Universe. Pretty much. Like it says here, the darkest depths of space, something powerful is lurking. Something that fills even Darkseid with fear. We have 0 Hour, Crisis in Time, which is a big 1990s event from 1994 that covers the entire timeline of the DC Universe. It says here, a decade after decimation of the multiverse and Crisis on Infinite Earths, the DC Universe faces a chronal crisis of cataclysmic proportions in 0 Hour. You have the final night, the end is 9, where basically the heroes have been told the world is going to end, so they have to spend, their final night preparing to try and prevent the end of the world. They have Underworld Unleashed, which is about the villains of the DC Universe. It says here, the DC Universe supervillains are offered a devilish deal that will result in their powers and abilities being boosted to lethal levels. Who can resist seizing opportunity with rapturous, power-crazed criminals running riot across the globe, while the DCU's heroes do when they are too offered tantalizing deals. Yeah. We have the Infinite Crisis run books, but not Infinite Crisis itself, unfortunately. We have Sacrifice, which is basically a Wonder Woman and Superman crossover, where they push the breaking point. Vengeance and Consequences, which is a Justice League and Justice Society crossover, about their turmoil and facing extra-dimensional threats. Villains United, which is self-explanatory. The villains uniting together against the Secret Six. And the Ran Thangar War, which is a Hawkman story. We have Superman: The Phantom Zone, which is how the Phantom Zone came to be. It's basically the origin of the Phantom Zone, even though the Phantom Zone existed before this point, from 1982. Superman the Legend Reborn, which is a retelling of Superman's origin, basically his returns. Yeah, pretty much that. Superman for All Seasons. Basically, Superman goes around different places to, well, it's basically, you know, like it says here, stands at unspeed highlight, beautifully realized evocative look at his early days, seen through the eyes of people closest to him. Lex Luthor the Black Ring, Volume 2. I don't have Volume 1, unfortunately. Lex Luthor gets his hands on a Black Lantern ring. Yeah. Anyone that knows what the Lantern rings are like knows why him getting his hands on a Black Lantern ring is a bad thing. Supergirl, Reign of the Cyborg Supermen. Supergirl is taking on a bunch of the Cyborg Supermen. Pretty much self-explanatory. Superman, Son of Superman, where he's basically teaching Jonathan how to be a superhero because Jonathan becomes Superboy. Not my favorite Superboy. Connor Kent will always be my Superboy, but there you go. Superman Trials the Super Sons, which led into the Super Sons storyline and comic book series with Superboy and Robin. That smug look on Jonathan's face, and Damian just wants to punch him one. Super Sons When I Grow Up, which is the first volume of the Super Sons series. Wonder Woman The Lies, which is, well, yeah, about Wonder Woman finding out that everything she knew was a lie. And Wonder Woman The Truth, where she finds out the truth about, who she really is. The Untold Legend of the Batman. Pretty self-explanatory, this one. Batman, Player on the Other Side. The very first introduction, well, not the first introduction of Hugo Strange, but the reintroduction of Hugo Strange. Batman, The Rise of Killer Croc, which is Killer Croc's first appearance. Batman, Nocturne and the Night Thief. This book is freaking massive. But yeah, the first appearance of two very obscure ones. Batman Gotham Knights, which is basically stories about the entire Bat family. It's also the inspiration for the game. All-Star Batman, My Own Worst Enemy. A more bizarre, grittier look at Batman. My favourite DC solo hero, Nightwing, A Night in Bloodhaven, where he first breaks out on his own. Gotham Central Top Targets, which is about Gotham Police Force and how they deal with supervillains when Batman's unavailable. Batgirl The Darkest Reflection, which reintroduces Barbara Gordon as Batgirl again. Batgirl Burnside and Beyond, which is a more female-focused Batgirl title. Let's say that. This pile here. We have Catwoman, Secrets and Streets and Scores, which is Selina's Big Score, which is a big graphic novel from the start of the Catwoman series. Birds of Prey Manhunt, which is the first of Prey, which is Black Canary, The Huntress, and who is the other one? Catwoman. Birds of Prey on Wings with Nightwing again. Yeah, special appearance by Nightwing in that one. Birds of Prey of Minds. Which, yeah. Oracle brings them back. Suicide Squad Trial by Fire. the very, very first appearance of the Suicide Squad. How it all began. Captain Boomerang's outfit is freaking ridiculous in those days. It was the 80s. Suicide Squad kicked in the teeth with my girl Harley. Harley's first appearance in the Suicide Squad. She's so awesome. All-Star Squadron, Crisis on Earth Prime. All-Star Squadron is a very obscure DC team. It has some old school A-listers from before, the Justice League days. Justice League Endings and Beginnings, when the Justice League run in the 80s began, with where Justice League International started and everything like that. Justice League Nightmares and Paradise. Martian Manhunter gets killed, and they all become trapped in their own private fantasies. Justice League of America, The Tornado's Path, with Red Tornado going basically rogue. Justice League of America, The Lightning Saga. Yes, that is Poison Ivy. Ivy is part of the team in this one. They take on the 31st Century Legion of Superheroes, if you're misunderstanding. Justice Society of America, The Next Age. A rebirth of sorts with Society. A two-parter here. Justice Society of America, Thy Kingdom Come, Volume 1 and 2. A sequel to Kingdom Come, which I should have brought over here with me, but I didn't. Oh, my arm's hurting. Deathstroke, City of Assassins, the 1990s Deathstroke series by Marv Wolfman, who created my favourite run of comics, but I'll get to that when I get to that. Deathstroke the Professional, a more modern take on Deathstroke. New Teen Titans, Terminator and Trigon. This has the first 10 issues of the New Teen Titans run in here, which is my favourite run of comics ever. New Teen Titans Trial of the Terminator, which has Deathstroke's trial, and also has the Judas Contract, my favourite comic book storyline of all time, which I will get to later. Vigilante, Vendetta and Vengeance. People might remember Vigilante from the Peacemaker TV show. And the last volume, Secret 6 Degrees of Devastation. Now, here I have some events and some other things. I only have 2 event ones over here, because I could only find 2 in my collection that are really, important. Crisis on Infinite Earths is my favourite event comic of all time. And it's not because the Teen Titans are at the centre of it, but it's one of the most important. It was a game changer in the DC Universe. It basically was the time the DC Universe ended and it all began again. Brilliant storyline. Highly recommend everybody read it. Very beloved and also very heart-wrenching too. And we have Flashpoint, where Barry Allen, Flash, travels back in time to find his mother's killer, only to basically end up in a completely different reality, and basically starts the Flashpoint, which is the whole thing that starts the whole New 52. Now, some of the ones we have here, we have Watchmen, which really needs no introduction at all. Watchmen is a very special story. A very, very special story. That had a movie adaptation and is one of the best storylines of superheroes ever. There's a perfect dialogue on how superheroes would be perceived in the real world. We have 2 very special ones here that are older than me. We have books 1 and 2 of World's Finest 3, which is Superboy and Robin. That is the Tim Drake Robin and the Connor Kent Superboy, by the way. Yeah, brilliant storyline with these two boys. Shows their friendship. It's a two. These are the original prints from, I believe, 1990. Yeah, 1996. Well, I just gave you a time frame of my age, didn't I? But yeah. We have the complete run of the Rebirth Titans, Volume 1, 2, and 3, making the entire run. Only 19 issues in that run, unfortunately. We have the entire original first run of Young Justice, Volume 1, 2, 3, and 4, all making up the original very first run from the 90s and early 2000s of the Young Justice. Yeah, sorry about that. This is very messy. And we have 3 gigantic books here that I'm going to have trouble bringing over. We have 3 massive volumes here that make up my favorite run of any comic book ever. That ignore any talking that you can hear down there. The complete run of the New Teen Titans. Volume 1 includes the first 20 issues, and DC Presents 25, and the 4-issue miniseries that began it. Each of these is like 500 pages as well, by the way. Volume 2 covers issues 21 to 41, with the first 2 annuals and the special crossover issues of Batman and the Outsiders, and also extra introductory pieces. And Volume 3 covers issues 42 to 58, the 3rd annual, and the 2nd run of issues 1 to 9. Now we have some extra ones. Now, Teen Titans is my favorite team in superheroes comics, period. We have my favorite storyline in comics ever, the Judas Contract, which is, yeah, this has seen better days. This book has served me well over years. Many a hospital appointment, many a school trip. Yeah. My favorite storyline. Basically, Terra joins the Titans, but is she to be trusted? Is she working for somebody? She has a very, very sad ending. This storyline really shows how much the Titans actually really care about people on their team, even if they double-cross them. And we have a special story run that is graphic novels collection that are run so far. We have Teen Titans Raven, Teen Titans Beast Boy. I'm going to show you a bit of this one because Beast Boy is my favorite superhero. Well, in the DC universe, anyway. Teen Titans Beast Boy Loves Raven, and Teen Titans Robin. And now we have 2 very special ones. This book right here, The Golden Age Batman Omnibus Volume 1. This covers the first, I believe, 10 years. Like, you have Detective Comics 27 from 1939. And then you have, where is it? The origin of Batman is here. You even have, like, the first appearance of Robin, the first appearance of Batman in general, like, his origin story is in here too. Goes from May 1939 all the way up to November of 1941. This is all the original like 90, like the very, very beginning of Batman is this book. And the last one, which is very, very special, DC versus Marvel. This is a crossover for the ages. Marvel and DC crossing over. You have Superboy fighting Spider-Man. You have Captain America and Wolverine. No, Batman and Wolverine, sorry. Captain America and Superman. Thor and... I can't remember who Thor fought. Wonder Woman and Storm. You have Hulk and Superman, actually. Just, yeah. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant storyline. Out of print now, though, unfortunately. But yeah. And I will be getting the Amalgam collection, which has that and all the other stories. But yeah, this was a video of my graphic novels. Now, I'm sorry I didn't go into too much detail about all of them, but if I had, we would literally have been here forever. So, yeah. If you like what you saw, smack that like button, slap the notification bell, smash the subscribe button. This is Sora, signing out. Love you guys. Peace.